Okay, so this is the next problem that we're going to do for confidence intervals. So in here we have, in a random sample of 50 students, 12 of them believe that marijuana should be legalized. So clearly this is a very old problem. So what we want to do here is that based on the sample, we want to construct a 90% confidence interval of the true proportion of students that believe marijuana should be legalized. So maybe this was 50 random students from Mesa College, right? 12 of them believe it should be legalized, right? So we want to see, okay, so based on this, on this sample, where is the true value of P of every single Mesa student, right? So we are not just going to say 12 divided by 50, that's the value, right? We want to figure out a confidence interval, right? So remember the formula in this case is going to still be p hat minus z star square root of p hat 1 minus p hat over n, and then p hat plus z star square root of p hat 1 minus p hat over n, right? So this is what we had. Okay, so in this case, what do we have? We know that p hat in this case is going to be equal to what? Well, they don't give us a percentage here, but it's the thing that comes from the sample, which in this case will be the 12 over the 50, right? So if I put 12 over 50 and I put it in my calculator, right? I'm trying to look for my calculator. My 12 divided by 50 is going to give me 0.24. So 24% of students believe that marijuana should be legalized. So this maybe was an old study, so whatever. So n in this case, well, n we already know what it is, right? N was 50, so we got 50 people. Okay, now what is z star? So remember from the previous video, we said that z star is dependent on the confidence level. In this case, the confidence level is 90%, and if we go back to our little chart, 90% corresponds with 1.645. So that's what z star is. So 1.645. Okay, now all we got to do is just plug it in and see what our numbers are. Okay, so p hat minus z star square root p hat 1 minus p hat divided by n. So we're going to have 0.24. Z star is just 1.645 square root of 0.24, 1 minus 0.24 divided by n. In this case, is going to be equal to 50. Okay, so you can go ahead and do this first and then subtract it, whatever you want to do. Let's go ahead and figure out what it is. I'm going to try to put everything in here. Now I'm going to use this calculator. So I'm going to put 0.24 minus 1.645 square root. So I'm going to put the square root sign here. I'm going to put a fraction also, right? 0.24, 1 minus 0.24. And then on the bottom is going to be 50. Okay, and what I'm going to get is 0.14. Okay, that is my first value. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and go to this one. P hat plus z star square root of p hat 1 minus p hat over n. Okay, so this is gonna still give me 0.24. So everything is exactly the same thing. The only thing that's different now is that the sign just changed, right, from a minus to a plus. Okay, so I'm gonna put equals. So for this one, and now if you don't want to go ahead and write everything down, just go back up, right? Press enter, right? Press enter. And what's going to happen is going to just pop up. And what we just want to go ahead and change, we just want to go ahead and change this plus, minus to a plus, okay? Enter, and what we get is our upper bound now, 0.34 approximately. 0.34, okay? So what is my confidence interval? My confidence interval in this case is going to be between 0.14, 0.14 all the way to 0.34. Okay, so 14% to 34%. So what we can say here is that we are 90% now, right? 90% confident that the true value lies between 0.14 to 0.34. Okay, so between 14% to 34%. So the true value of the percentage of people that we believe, or in this case, proportion of students that believe marijuana should be legalized is probably between 14% all the way to 34%. That's what we think. Okay, so yes. All right, so now I also have a part B here. A poll states that 50% of Americans believe marijuana should be legalized. Is this consistent with our interval? Well, do we believe that 50% of Americans believe that marijuana should be legalized? Well, it's 50% in our interval. Well, this is just still between 14% to 34%, right? So if I were to graph it, right, here's 14%, here's 34%. So we think that P should be between this, right? We think that P lies somewhere in here. 50% is way over here, right? It doesn't lie in here. So this is not consistent, right? No. 50% does not lie in our interval. So therefore, we cannot conclude that that this is correct. Now, there's a lot of things that you also have to take into account, right? Where did we get these 50 people from, right? Where did we sample them, right? So there's a lot of things in terms of the design of the experiment, right? Or maybe we did experiments, right? And it just so happens that maybe 50% of Americans don't want marijuana to be legalized. Or where, in what part of the state are we sampling? So there's a lot of things that we can think about. You know, it's already legalized, so it's not like it really matters. This is a really old problem. But yeah, so hopefully this helps a little bit more on confidence intervals. All you literally have to do, plug them into the formula, right? And try to figure out what Z star is, right? And Z star is always dependent on the confidence level. Okay, so that's it for this one. And I'll see you guys on Monday or Tuesday.